Okay, if you're an innovator, you know this feeling, right? You've got a truly brilliant idea, but trying to get it patented and funded feels like you're fighting a war on two different fronts. Well, today, we're going to break down a strategy designed to solve exactly that. It's called the three-pillar portfolio. So let's talk about the innovator's dilemma. You've poured everything into developing this groundbreaking technology, this core method that you know could change an industry. The problem is, it's complex. It touches on so many different applications, and the moment you try to patent it or pitch it for a grant, everything just gets blurry. The IP becomes a mess, and those grant proposals, they come back rejected. And you're left with this tangled web, Your core invention is all mixed up with its specific applications. And because of that, patent examiners can't make heads or tails of it, and grant reviewers, they can't see a clear, fundable project in the chaos. It is an incredibly common and, let's be honest, a super frustrating roadblock. But what if there was a way to just untangle that whole mess? A strategy that creates perfect clarity for your team, for patent officers, and for the people with the money? Well, that is the entire idea behind the three-pillar IP strategy. The concept here is actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. Instead of having one giant, confusing patent application that tries to do everything, you strategically break up your intellectual property into three completely separate pillars. Think of them as clean, distinct ownership lanes. This separation, it's the key to everything. So pillar number one is the system. The best way to think about this is like the chassis of a car or the operational engine. This is the patent that covers the whole process, how the system senses the world, makes a decision, and then acts on it. It's the fundamental machinery that makes your core idea actually work. Next up, pillar two, the core method. Now this is your crown jewel. This is the secret sauce. This patent protects the fundamental math, the unique algorithm, the one-of-a-kind computation that is the absolute heart of your innovation. This is the piece of IP that you protect above all else. It's non-negotiable. And the final piece of the puzzle is pillar three, the applications. These are all the specific real-world ways you can use your tech. Things like managing a power grid, or compressing data, or maybe developing a new kind of biosensor. Each one of these can be its own patent, and this is so important. This is where all your grant-funded work, your prototypes, and your evidence lives. It keeps that stuff cleanly separated from your core IP. All right, so that's the structure. That's the what. But how do you actually pull it off over time? Well, this strategy comes with a 24-month macro roadmap, and it's designed to take you all the way from a concept to a fully validated technology. Let's walk through how it unfolds. The whole journey kicks off by getting your IP and your grant strategy perfectly aligned from day one. Then you get to work building a shared test harness. Think of it as one engine to generate all your evidence. By month 6, you're already developing 2 different pilots using that same core engine. The whole point is to hit a huge milestone in the next phase, and then, finally, you can scale up into real product lines. Now, that huge milestone I mentioned, it happens in phase 3. The goal is to secure an external partner. You want to get them to test your technology with their data, on their equipment. This gives you what's called a technology readiness level, or TRL lift. It's basically independent, third-party proof that your big idea has real-world value. It's a game changer. Okay, so that's the big picture, the 30,000-foot view. But we all know that big plans are built on what you do week in and week out. So let's zoom in to the micro playbook, the operational rhythm that actually makes that big roadmap a reality. Think of your week as being organized into 4 parallel work streams that are always running. You're constantly updating your IP documentation, you're running disciplined engineering sprints, you're doing validation checks on every single demo, and you're packaging up all that progress for your next grant proposal. They all have to work together. And that engineering work, it follows this beautiful, simple 2-week sprint pattern. You implement a new feature. You compare it against a baseline to prove it's better. Then you stress test it to see where it breaks. And every single sprint ends with an automated report and an update to what's called your embodiment log, which is basically a diary connecting every technical improvement you make directly back to your patent claims. It's a machine for creating evidence. And every demo you do, every report you generate, has to answer these 4 questions, no exceptions. 1, what baseline did we beat? 2, what metric got better, and by how much? 3, when does it fail? And 4, can somebody else reproduce these results? Answering these questions rigorously is what gives grant reviewers confidence and makes your patents rock solid. So, you've got the pillars, you've got the roadmap, you've got this weekly playbook. How does all this structure actually help you in the funding? I mean, that's the goal, right? Well, this is where the true genius of the strategy really shines. Because you've so cleanly separated your core engine, that's Pillar 2, from all its applications in Pillar 3, you can tell different stories to different funding agencies without ever changing your fundamental work. You have one core project, but you have many ways you can frame it. So for example, you can take the exact same core technology to 3 different agencies. For the Department of Energy, you frame your pitch around grid resilience and reducing outages. For the National Science Foundation, you emphasize the foundational generalizable method and its reproducibility. And for the Department of Defense, you highlight its performance under attack. See what's happening? It's the same core tech, just told as 3 completely different, highly relevant stories. That is incredibly efficient. So we've broken down the pillars, the roadmap, and the funding strategy. After all of that, what is the single biggest idea you should walk away with? It all boils down to this one simple idea. You let the grant money pay for the applications, the prototypes, the evidence gathering, all of that is your Pillar 3 work. Meanwhile, your core patents, the ones for the system and the method, your Pillars 1 and 2, they stay completely clean, unencumbered, and 100% yours. And that leaves us with one final question for you to really think about. As you look at your own innovation, your own work, what is that one piece of math, that one core method that is your true secret sauce? What is your Pillar 2? Because identifying that is the very first step to building your own powerful, fundable 3-pillar portfolio.